Shamai, and welcome to my first live stream. Okay, I'm really hoping you can hear me okay. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat, so let me know if there's any problems there. Fingers crossed, nothing is going to go wrong. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to risk taking those off for a minute, but let me know in the chat if things are not good. So how are we all keeping? And welcome. Wow, this was one of my 2023 goals, was to do a live stream or to start live streaming. So a massive box ticked. I normally have a couple of New Year's resolutions, which is to have more fun and to go to bed earlier. I normally get the fun bit. I never get to bed earlier. So this is one of my resolutions. And another one was Patreon. So I'm really chuffed with that. I'm just going to check the chat a sec. Excellent. Thank you for letting me know about the sound. So there is a sort of plan for this evening, I hope, anyway. Basically, as I said, I really wanted to do live streaming. So what I'm going to try and do anyway is answer questions to a video that I asked a few weeks ago. So I've got something to go on, but please, 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 if you've got questions or comments as we go, it would be really, really, really nice to hear from them. So, oh yes. I have been dreaming of this for a long time. I say that, no. Since the beginning of the year, I decided this was going to be, a target. So for weeks and weeks and weeks, I've been trying to sort my head out. But really, when I was really small, like very young, I used to pretend to be a DJ in my bedroom, and I'd set up all the equipment, my cassette players and my dad's old sort of reel tape thing. And I suppose this doesn't actually look all that different. Just to give you an idea, this is one camera angle. Then I've got this camera angle to look at as well. Hopefully the audio is going to be okay with that. We go back to this one. And I've also managed to set up my MacBook Pro, so I can show you things online as well. So yeah, going back to when I was a very small child, I used to pretend that all of this thing was happening without the screens, but with the music. So I'm 51 now, so I suppose that's not too bad. Right, I'm just going to have a quick check of the chat. So Sean Keddy is in the house. Welcome, Sean. Shamai, thanks. Nancy Jennings is here. Hang on, I'm going to just open this up on my laptop for a minute, because looking over there is going to get really, really awkward. Honestly, I was so excited. I've been testing. And yes, this is my first live stream. I think I got up as far as 10 tests, which were all private. So I am genuinely excited about this. So what I'm going to try and do for a minute, hopefully, without ruining all of this, I'm going to attempt to have a look at the live stream on here and follow the comments. So just bear with me for a minute. Now, obviously, I know there are people from all over the world, different times and everything. So good evening if you're in this sort of time zone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good night to everybody. And if you want to leave a comment just to say where you are, that would be really, really cool. Okay, so looking here. So we've got Nancy Jennings says hello. Jude Randall, good evening. Enjoying a cup of here too. Excellent. Megan Hall, good evening, Megan. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. Meg is actually one of my favourite pupils in school. She's in my registration class as well. Anarchy in the ukulele. Shamai. Tobias Ware, good morning. It is very early where you are. I've got a few questions of yours to look at later. Sean Keddy, I've mentioned. Glyn Heskins, good evening from Gloucestershire. Good evening, Eileen. Ricky Lynch, it sounds good. Thank you very much. Swedish avocado, that's another pupil, ex-pupil now, Ewan. Good to have you here. I hope you're keeping well. Ewan was one of our ukuleleans in school for years and years and years, and he's just left, and we all miss him massively. Okay, so the plan for the evening, excuse me a minute. I don't want to be coughing all over people. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the questions to do with Rachel's rambles. I've had some brilliant questions and comments and suggestions and things like that. But as I said, if you've got anything you want to ask as we go in, that would be fantastic. So I'm just having a little look now. We've got Wales in the house. We've got Scotland. I've mentioned Gloucestershire. Sorry, I really shouldn't try and do accents. Australia with Tobias down under. We've got New York. Hello, California. There's Marcy. We've got Nancy who's in Kentucky, USA. And Joyce. Hi, Rachel. Great idea, live chat. Here you find, I just wanted to ask if you've done an in-depth video on mixers. I think I'd like to get one, but worried it's going to be too technical. Okay, right. Well, first answer of the evening to do with mixers. They are technical, but don't panic, right? They're actually quite simple when you start to look into them. I haven't done an in-depth look at mixers yet. All right, we've had a little issue with one of the speakers, so I'm trying to get that fixed. Plus, I haven't actually physically got anywhere to really set the PA up at home. So the worst case, I'm waiting for finer weather and I can do it outside. So yes, definitely will be looking at mixers, and they look a lot more technical than they actually are. All right, so don't panic too much on that front. Great question though, Joyce. Another one from the USA, Massachusetts. Holland, hello, Lizette. Well, we know where Ewan is from. Margaret Wilson in Michigan. Hello, Margaret. And I believe you're one of my recent Patreons as well. Thank you ever so much. And that goes for Jude as well. I have very recently started Patreon. This isn't a big sell, but you know, if you do want to support me here and on Ukuleleans, there should be a link in the description of this video. Actually, go and have a little look. But as I said, there's no pressure, but a massive thank you to everybody who is supporting me. Okay, right. So we've answered one question. I am now going to attempt to whiz over to, I was quite organized earlier on, and now I've lost it. Okay. Here we go. So if I go, right. Yeah, sorry, you can see my face there. And it's almost identical. Oh, I've got the same t-shirt on. How bad is that? I'm going to start to have a little look at some of these comments. Okay, so if I scroll down and go down, hang on. A little bit further. I've got too many mice. You wouldn't believe the equipment I've got here this evening. When I said earlier on about being a small child pretending to be a DJ, this is just, apart from having the obvious mic, I've got camera over there. This is taking a bit of getting used to be honest, and looking at the right camera. So that's got a screen on it. Then I got a camera there, which has also got a screen on it. Then down below here, I've got my MacBook Pro, which is what you're seeing. Then I've also got down below here another mixer, main screen over there, and then sound effect over on the other side. So it is getting my head around all of this. Okay, so I'm going to start off with. Right, hang on, I can hear an echo a minute. Has the echo gone? Excellent. Apologies for that. A learning curve. And I'm not wearing my headphones, but I can hear it very quietly coming out of here. Okay, so thank you for the instant feedback on that. Excellent. You only live and learn, and it'll be a miracle if nothing horrific goes wrong in this. Right, so going back to there are some brilliant questions. Okay. So Brett, or at Tipton Brett, I could think of a few ideas, and judging by the likes of this, a few people totally agreed with him on this front. The first question he asked, and I'm not going to be able to answer this properly tonight, but I will be doing videos on this, is how to figure out a bass line if all you have is something basic like a lead sheet or a chord diagram. Awesome question. Basically, depending if I know the song or not. If I know the song, possibly I've actually got the music here for it, or I can get hold of music or a tab to give me an idea. Or I will listen to the song by really trying to analyze the actual bass line, but that takes way too long. And quite often you've just turned up somewhere and somebody hands you a ukulele chord sheet and goes, play this. My big thing is going to be keep it basic. Keep it as basic as you humanly can. If you're just plonking in the first note to start with, and it's the first time you've ever played that song and you're playing with a group, that is way, way, way better than trying to be too clever and messing it all up. Once or if you know the song but you're not sure of the bass line, again, look at the chords. And the way I would do this is I'm not a great lover of 1 and 5. Boom, 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 boom. It works often, but not always. So I would either look at using the notes from the chords. So the first, the third, and the fifth, or the first, the fourth, and the fifth. Or I would use scale notes going up and down, or I do a mixture of both. Okay, but I am going to do more in-depth videos on this. I have done one, the basics of building a bass line, but that's a brilliant opening question. Right, we'll carry on for a minute here. How to use the family of uke instruments to compose songs, things like chord structures, bass line, percussion, and melody. Again, an excellent question. It depends what situation you're in. If, for example, you're in the house and you want to record a song and you've got something like GarageBand, or I am going to talk about some other digital audio settings a bit later. Okay, you can come up with your either do it with your chords to start with, or do it with your bass line, or even do it with your melody and then slot those in. But for me personally, I tend to go chords, then build my bass line from that, then build everything else on top. If you're going to do it just as a live situation, you could even use a looper pedal, actually. That would be a good one. But the way I would do it, I tend to, if I'm composing, I will put a chord structure together, normally playing it on an instrument. There's nothing worse than just sitting there thinking, oh, what chord should I play? Get hold of an instrument. Okay, write those down, then look at your bass line, then add everything else to it. Really good. I might do a video on that one as well in the future. Third point from Brett was everyone loves a good video on mini ukes, how to tune them, challenges of playing them, how they fit into a uke group. I rechecked this, knows or sopranissimos, piccolo ukes or pocket ukes, but year and a half ago, myself and Jude went to the uke shop. Do I mean the uke shop? The uke room. Sorry, Matt. The uke room. The lovely Matt Stead. And got me this. It is a pocket Carla ukulele. It is so cute. Hang on. There we go. All right. It's tiny, 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 tiny. All right. I can't really explain how small it is. So just going back for a second. There we go. So the question was how the challenges of playing them, tuning them. I had no idea about this, but I'm not gonna really hurt your ears and play this too much tonight. But these are tuned slightly differently. I want to say A, D, F sharp, and therefore, hang on. Oh, this is awful. I really should know. I tuned it earlier on. Right, so if this is an A, that's a D. That is an F sharp, and therefore that's going to be a B. Oh, quick swig of tea a minute. Excuse me. Oh, Jude is just saying she had we had fab time at the uke room. We really did. But anyway, back to this for a minute. I really don't know what that sounds like. Shall I try and play it? Okay, so yeah, they tuned differently. If you've never seen one before, they're tiny, 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 tiny. And when I was reading this question, I thought, oh great, I can go and get my pocket Carla. All right. Next thing, the challenges of playing them to fit into a uke group. That's really difficult, actually. I suppose if somebody wants to play it, it's going to have slightly different timbre. All right. It's not necessarily going to sound higher pitched, although you could play different chord structures on there. So you're getting different voices, if that makes sense as well. It's not something I've ever actually really thought about, but maybe I will have a little think about it. And Jude, maybe we should try one of these in Cool Hand Ukes and see where we can fit it in. Okay. And the last... No, not quite the last point. From Tipton Brett, how to coordinate a uke group, things like picking the music, directing, how to set things up for players on different levels. Again, a really, really great question there. It's slightly different for me because the uke group that I run in school, we use the ukulele play-alongs from the ukuleleans. So it's really a case of, first of all, choosing the song that I want to do with the group and then trying to persuade them that they like it enough to do it, which in fairness, they normally do. I try and choose a range of genres, different styles of music, things that are going to suit different people. But I do tend to have, when I'm doing play-alongs for school, a few real basic rules. For example, it's got to work as a group. I do occasionally do play-alongs with one student in mind as a solo, but generally it's there to work as a group. Some of them are going to be easier, some of them are going to be more challenging, and I suppose that's going to be the same then if you're using normal chord charts with songs. I don't have to worry too much about the singing because we got the play-alongs, and a lot of the pupils, especially when they first start, really don't want to sing, which is absolutely fine. And the more experience you get, some of them are really happy singing then. So I don't have to worry about that, where you would have to worry about it if you were running a real a group without play-alongs, I suppose. For the different levels, again, for me, I just do different level play-alongs and I run 3 groups. So I have an absolute starters group. I have a beginners group. They're generally the ones who've been playing a few months. Somebody in the beginners group would be generally, they'll know their C, their F, their G, G7, A minor, D7. So they wouldn't know loads of chords, but they can get through enough songs. And then obviously I have the main ukuleleans. Not everybody can play everything in that, but they soon learn. It's amazing. If you put something in front of somebody and they want to learn it, even if they can't actually play it, it gives them the opportunity to really have a go of it. Okay. If there's anybody who wants to leave comments, mind, to help these out, because I know, for example, Jude Randall, aka our Cool and Ukes boss, she's been running groups for years and years, and I'm sure there are going to be other people as well. But I hope that helps a little bit from my thoughts of it. Anyway, an examination of how different tone woods and body shapes, for example, the pineapple double bout affects sound. Again, a brilliant point, but I think that one is definitely going to be for an actual video. Okay, so thank you, Tipton Brett. There were some absolutely brilliant suggestions in there, and I know other people thought they were really good as well. Okay, back to the stream for a minute. Let's have a little look to see. Sorry, I'm just going to catch up for a moment with these. So we've had a few more people join. We've sorted out the feedback loop. Yeah, I do apologize for that. And it's only doing things like this you actually learn about it as well. Megan says apologies accepted. Good. Um, oh, it's good to see a few of you actually getting involved and answering some of the bits there. A bit of a stall. It could be. Unfortunately, the internet gods. I've done everything I possibly can to have the connection good. We just keep fingers crossed. Let's carry on for a moment. Oh, Tobias has confirmed I was indeed A, D, F sharp, and B is the original tuning. Oh, good evening, Mr. Welch, Paul Welch. Another one of the Ukemaniacs is here. Lovely to see you. Let me have a little look. So Jude, we bring my sopranino in there. Oh my God, we could have multiple sopraninos. I can see that going really bad. Nancy, I play my U bass for bluegrass music. When you find a jam, we always try to play old standards. Yeah, that's again, it depends as well what age group you're doing. Because if I went along to school and just did old standards, a lot of the kids are going to throw me out of the room. However, if I introduce some of them along with when I say more modern things, basically anything from the 80s upwards, for me, I can get away with. All right. But totally agree with you. A lot of the old standards work brilliantly. And remember, for years and years, apart from being a classically trained, so that's, old standards, double bass player, bass guitar, I've played in big bands, jazz bands, swing bands for years and years. And if I'm brutally honest, swing band music is one of my favorite to play. Absolutely love it. Okay, where do we get to? Let's have a little look. Oh, yep. Thank you, Jude. Jude has also confirmed as well that her sopranino is tuned to A, D, F sharp, and B. And I got to admit, when I got it down earlier on, I did actually have to have a little look to see what it was. I couldn't remember the tuning, and it was so out of tune. There was no way of just starting from there. Okay, right. Back to. Let's have a little look. So that was some excellent comments and questions there from Tipton Brett. Very much appreciated. In fact, we shall go. Okay, carrying on. So from Bluesug, I think I'm probably not saying that right. Streaming will be fun. Love the new mixer and would appreciate an in-depth look at it. Yes, definitely. I am so sorry. I have been, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I've been meaning to do it. It's just we've had a couple of technical issues. If you haven't seen the Ukemaniacs, when we were playing with Sammy Turton back in the autumn, one of the speakers caught on fire, and I'm still waiting for that to get fixed at the minute. So I didn't really want to sort of try and do a PA and mixer type video with not all the equipment there, but it is coming, I promise. Eileen, a long-time supporter here on Ukulele Wales, has asked, well, first of all, seconded a lot of what Brett suggested, which is excellent. My biggest nightmare is trying to put together more inventive musical bass lines, particularly for songs we are doing in a gig. It can take me hours to copy something down from YouTube, as it's rarely in the same key. Something on different styles would be a brilliant start. Fab. Now, again, this isn't the sort of thing I'm going to do in this live stream, possibly a future one we're making a bass line. But again, it's finding the style as well. And don't be frightened to take ideas from one song. Not necessarily, I'm not talking about stealing bass lines, but say you've got an idea from one song and it's the same sort of genre. It could be rock, it could be pop, it could be funk, it could be jazz, whatever. Very often that will transfer into another song. All right. Walking bass lines are always a brilliant way to start. And it's amazing what you can actually change in a walking bass line by the time you start to change the rhythms and little things like that as well. So think, first of all, again, going back to arpeggios, think about scales, not just a major or minor scale, pentatonic scales, blues scales. They're all going to help you construct. Rhythm is a massive, massive part of it. But again, keep it simple. It is far better to be simple than to go and mess things up. And you're part of the rhythm section at the end of the day. Um, yeah, you're going to lose gigs by messing it up rather than losing gigs by playing a simple bass line, because no matter how simple it is, adding bass makes everything better. Simple as that. Okay. Right, where do we get to? We'll try another one from here for a minute. Oh, Laurie, another patron, one of my new patrons. Thank you ever so much. And again, one of the absolute original supporters here. Laurie lives in Maine, I believe. I might be making that up. And she is one of the coolest rock chicks I know. Um, I'm not going to give her age away, but she owns almost as many electric and bass ukuleles as I do, including, I think she's got a Fana, a Reza. Honestly, she's featured on Show Us Your Ukes. Okay, so go and check out. I can't remember which episode it is, but Laurie's ukulele collection is awesome. So Laurie is saying, very exciting. Looking forward to new things. I'm still struggling with the bass lines. Maybe a couple of songs with bass line instructions would be helpful. It would be get me thinking in the right direction. Really appreciate all the work you're doing and complicated setups you have created. Yeah, I have. They are complicated, but that's my own fault. Right. Yes, definitely. I do plan now that we've finished, and Laurie's been one of the ones who's gone through the whole how to read bass music using your ukuleles, all 23 lessons of them. So she's made absolutely awesome progress. Laurie, I don't even know if actually. Oh, I'm not sure if she's here or not. She said she was away and she was going to try and make a little bit of it. But Laurie, yes, there is definitely going to be. What I'm going to start doing now is looking at scales, looking at rhythms, and looking at actual songs. And if I've got the bass line here, I will be putting it up and we'll learn the bass line using notation and tabs. Okay. And as much without getting into copyright problems as I possibly can. Okay, right. I'm just going to jump back a moment to the live stream. Okay, right. We seem to have a bit of fun going on at the minute. So, Shirl D has turned up. Welcome, Shirl, another long-time supporter and ukulele bass player. Paul O'Brien, hello from Jacksonville, Florida, USA. Hello back, Paul. Thank you, Anarchy and the ukulele. I'm reading these at the minute now. Just to let you know, I'm not using any software with this. This is all coming from this. If I go like that, this magic machine by here, this Roland VR1 HD, and it basically I can get 3 audio inputs into it and 3 different camera angles. So I'm having to actually go online to watch the live stream to see the actual, what's it called? Chat. I am possibly considering, let me just go back there for a minute. Possibly considering, oh, that's not good. No. Right, that's better because you don't really want to be seeing the live stream as well. Right, okay. See, it's only doing these things you learn. I am considering, if I enjoy this, if you guys enjoy this, more importantly as well, to start going through there's different softwares you can get to make life a little bit easier. For example, I think you've got Yardstream, you've got Ecamm is the one I'm looking at. You pay a monthly subscription. And apart from getting more bells and whistles with this, you can put the comments up on screen from the chat, which would make it really much, much easier. And you can invite people in. I think you can go up to some like 10 people all online at the same time. There's loads and loads of things, but as this is my absolute first live stream, I really didn't want to start messing about too much. Okay, so let me just go back to the actual live stream for a minute. Where do we get to? See, I'm going from one screen by there to this screen by here, and it's brilliant fun. I can almost imagine what it's like being a DJ now, but with video. Okay, right. I think I'm back where we are. So we had what's Sean making everybody laugh, earplugs at the ready. Ah, right, talking about Jude's Sopranino or Sopranino. Megan in the Hall of the Mountain King swing. Right. I'm trying to get these in order at the minute. So we've got Shirl, I've said hello to, Kate, Shemai, Rachel. Now that's Kate, who is also, how do I explain this? Kate is the partner of my nephew, Ian, who is older than me. And a little while back, Ian got in touch and he went, oh, we want to buy a couple of ukuleles. So brilliant, guys. Well done and welcome to the live stream. Awesome you were here. Thank you ever so much. And maybe actually catch up in person at some point soon. Okay, Megan Hall in the Hall of the Mountain King swing version. Right, the kids in school know me too well, basically. Let me go like that for a minute and sit back and, hang on. Quick. As a music teacher, I wander around school day in and day out, whistling, humming, singing, and it's normally some kind of really inane tune. It's normally just a earworm, and it can be basically whatever I've heard last. I'll walk into the staff loos and somebody say, "Oh, you're happy?" And I go, "No, I'm not happy. I've just got this going round in my head all the time." Well, I must have been singing Hall of the Mountain King, or the kids had heard it. And that's all they're doing at the minute is in the music department, they sit in the corridor singing a swing version of Hall of the Mountain King. So there we go, Megan Hall. Thank you very much. I've explained my madness in school a little bit, but only a little bit. Okay, Sean, we could have cooked eggs on that speaker. Oh yeah, of course I'd forgotten it was you a gig, wasn't it? With the Ukulele Wales Ukulele Project. Luckily we noticed that the speaker was on fire. Sorry, this is going back to the gig back in the autumn. Ukulele Elaine. Anyway, thank you very much. Ukulele Elaine, I think I featured you ukuleles on Show Us Your Uke at some point as well. Hello to Philadelphia. I've been to Philadelphia many, many years ago with an orchestra tour. Tobias. Oh, this is to Sean. Yeah. Paul O'Brien uses a senior friendly. I'm not sure what that is. Ukes. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so loud then. Yeah, ukes, senior friendly. Absolutely 100% agree with that. But they're also child friendly. Ukes are every age friendly. That is one of the absolute beauties of it. Totally agree with you there. Scales of the building blocks. Absolutely, Jude. How long is this going to be available to view? This is Paul Welch. Paul, I have no idea how long this is going to go on for this evening, but it will become available on YouTube afterwards. All right, so it'll be saved there, and hopefully, I think anyway, the live chat should work as well. All right, fingers crossed. But yeah, once I finish, this will go back up on YouTube. If you've got to go. See you soon. Hi, Rachel. Love your U-bass lessons. Thank you, Mike Lay. That is much appreciated. Paul O'Brien, thanks from across the pond. Diolch yn fawr. Anarchy and the ukuleles. I do love that. Am I right, Anarchy and the ukuleles, believing that you did the first flight mini bass review? Am I thinking that correct? Because if so, awesome job. Absolutely brilliant. So Anarchy and the ukulele, did you do the flight bass mini ukulele review? You know what I mean? Because it was brilliant. Nancy Jennings. You, and funny enough, I was talking to hubby. Swedish Avocado has just mentioned Eurovision 2023. I love Eurovision. I really, really do. Webbs, will you be watching it? Oh, yes. I was talking to hubby about it earlier. I don't think we'll ever be able to recreate that, what should have been the one that never happened without mentioning any more. Lisa Ray, hello from Wisconsin. Again, Lisa Ray is another long-time supporter of the channel. Thank you very much. And hello. And Rebecca Myers, hello from Colorado. Lovely to see you. Wow, we've got people from all over. This is fantastic. Bonnie Funkelhauser, awesome name. Love, love, love. Ubasa fan. Thank you very much. And great to hear from another one. Yes. Anarchy in the Ukulele. Yep, that was us. Fantastic. Honestly, thoroughly enjoyed that review. I haven't got one yet. I've done a review on it. I just haven't got one. Jude bought one. There is one around, but I'm not allowed. I've spent way too much money trying to sort all of this out recently. So I'm definitely not allowed one at the minute, but I will be getting one, I promise. But you did a brilliant job reviewing it. Okay, right. Back to the list a minute. Let's have a little look. See, I was about to start singing then. Oh, right. Jules. Next question up. Again, a patron and one of my long time supporting partners in crime here on Ukulele Wales. In fact, Jules, let me go to this one for a minute. Fingers crossed this all works. Hopefully. See, setting up live streaming is one thing, and that's hard enough. Setting up live streaming as a musician is a completely different level, because not only this week I'm on this camera, have I had to sort out cameras, lighting, mixers, delays of audios, in other words, lagging. Yeah, I'm on this camera, lagging in between things. I've had to sort out instruments. Here we go. Okay, the clap isn't for me, it's for Pinky. In fact, I'm going to go. Right. This is how I manage. This is how my brain works. I get so easily distracted. Right. This is how I got to playing Pinky for a moment. Jules named Pinky. Okay. When that bass first arrived, and this is going back quite a long while now, it was described as purple in the advert. It's certainly not purple. And when I did the first unboxing and review and things, if I show you like that, there is purple tinges in it. They're only tinges. It's definitely pink. And so I described it as purple, and Jules was like, no, that's not purple. That's Pinky, and she'll be named Pinky. And from then on in, Pinky has been Pinky. Muso, cheap, cheerful, fantastic little bass. Currently rocking the new Formula Thunder Black strings, which have made a massive difference, not just to the look of it, but also how it sounds. And I've put new, better tuners on it, which is something I'll talk about a bit later. Anyway, back to Jules's question a moment. Okay, so all the good news, upgrades and cool plans, but now I can't stop thinking about this secret bass uke equipment. The suspense is killing me. As it is, we've already answered it, and Jules has decided she doesn't like the new Thomann Harley Benton bass. She would if she saw it, and she'd love it if I put flat wound strings on. Okay, next question for a minute. From Mary Bikes. Mary is again a real big supporter here on Ukulele Wales. American, I think. So Mary says, I love your video. It's great to see what you do to improve the quality of your videos. Thank you very much. When I started making videos, I'm going to be honest here, they were pretty rubbish. I knew so little about video making. I really, really did. I think my first couple of actual videos were with my phone. Honestly, they were horrific. They were really not very good at all. even holding it the wrong. Oh, I'm not even gonna go. Anyway, biggest things I've learned since doing this, audio has got to be a lot better than I had it. And I do cringe at some of my earlier videos now. I hope that my editing skills have got a lot better. I love messing about with the editing, the lighting. Now in here on this live stream, um, it's really different lighting to what I normally have for a video, because when I film a video normally I've got one big white light up there and I color grade everything afterwards. If when I did that originally, when I started setting up for this, I've got grey hair. Oh, I've got a bit of a haircut, and I've got a grey t-shirt on, but I love color. And oh, I was just grey. I was completely grey. I'm not tanned or anything now, and I'm noticing this camera here is looking a lot bluer than it did earlier on, actually. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, it's too late. We're not worrying about that for now. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so the light is very, very different to what I normally use in here anyway. But yeah, it's been a massive learning curve with everything, but it has been brilliant fun. All right. If somebody had asked me a few years ago, oh, well, how do you make a video with a drone? I'd be like, you what? And, I was down in my friend of mine's got a rock climbing place, and I was down there yesterday flying the drone around, filming a children's fun day. So it's amazing what you learn from starting to play the ukulele many years ago. So thank you very much, Mary Bikes. Much appreciated. Right. So I don't get too far behind with the chat on. Oh God, I've missed quite a lot a minute. Right. So we're up to Nancy Jennings. How do we find your Patreon? Thank you, Nancy, for asking. Basically, I think there's a link below in this actual video, but if not, if you go onto the Ukulele Wales channel or the Ukuleleans channel, up in the top right hand corner there should be a set of links to my website, to Ukuleleans, to Instagram, I think, and there's a P for Patreon. But thank you very much for inquiring, and even more thank you if you do decide to support me. Pinky sounds great. Thank you, Marcy, very much. Pinky looks great as well. Love every time you play it. Thank you, Jude. Do you prefer rubber or wound strings? Excellent question, Paul Welch, or Gov, because he's one of the Ukumaniacs. I like both. If I'm going to change it slightly, do you prefer rubber or wound strings? I can say straight away rubber on that, because I actually prefer flat wound strings. All right, just being a bit pedantic. I'm not trying to be pedantic at all. I like rubber strings because they sound different, and they take a bit of getting used to with the fingers. When you first start with rubber strings, it's like, ooh, that's different. But now I've been playing them a few years. I absolutely love playing them, and they're softer on your fingers. But excellent question. Michelle Knight, I must get back playing my uke again. Yes, Michelle, you must. Simple as that. Lisa Ray, oh my God. Ever since I watched the video on the Benton. Oh, Harley Benton. Sorry. I want one and I really don't need any more. Okay. We're going to have to do this, aren't we? Jude knows what I'm about to say. In fact, quite a few of you probably know exactly what I'm about to say. This is your answer here. Lisa Young, how do I put this in a way? I really don't need any more. Why do you need it? To get rid of the feeling of want. So it's really, really important. All right. If you need it, you've got to get rid of that feeling of want. I'm sorry, I use that so often. It's ridiculous, but it's true. All right. Yeah, we all need things all the time, unfortunately. The lighting is very restful in the background tonight. Thank you, Jude. I'm just getting a soother, just in case. The last thing I want to be doing is coughing down the microphone at everybody. I worked hard for all my greys. I won that, yeah. Totally agree with you there, Tobias. Rachel, you just played the bass, so of course you have the blues. Loving it, loving it. Yeah, it's different. I'm trying to get like look like a human being rather than just totally grey. So that's why I've got all these orange lights going around here, which I wouldn't normally have. Something I will look at to change, and I no doubt after watching this back, there'll be things that I'll want to change immediately. Okay. Oh, hello, Ronald Martin from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for joining. It's lovely to see you here tonight. Oh, back to Michelle. Go and get your ukulele, Michelle. You've been told. I need to relearn. I haven't touched my uke for ages. Okay, Paul, if you have a pinky, you now need to get a perky. Loving it. To get rid of the yeah, Jude is on me on that. That's all I learned in school was to get rid of the feeling of want. Thank you, Ewan. Michelle Knight, have you ever taught anyone with autism to play? I have autism and find chord changes hard because of my dyspraxia. Yes, I've taught quite a few students with various degrees of autism. Some of them absolutely played the ukulele beautifully, and I really do mean beautifully. Others struggled a little bit, not so much with the musical aspect of it, but the physical aspect. Sometimes with getting the chord shapes and things, and I have had a few pupils with dyspraxia as well. So what I would say to you on that front is I'm just trying to think of the things that we used to do. It was more routine than anything else, and do it very, very slowly to start with to build up the muscle memory. I know it's difficult. It's very easy for me to say, especially just to a screen, but it is possible. And just keep at it. Don't get frustrated. And this goes for absolutely everybody. If you're learning to play an instrument, especially ukulele, but any instrument whatsoever, and you find you're getting frustrated, put it down and walk away. All right. When I was in music college many years ago, my music teacher, he'd come into a lesson and go, why is there a hole in the sheet music? What have you done? And I used to get really annoyed with myself. And, after a few hours of practice, and whack the music with my bow. Doesn't do you any good at all. Now, generally, the ukulele is a happy instrument, but we've still got physical limits as well. All right. So if you're not in the mood or you're finding something difficult, put it down, walk away, and then come back to it. But good luck, Michelle. Jude, I'm pink head, go purple, Rach. Yeah, the day I retire, the sooner the better, if I'm brutally honest. But yeah, I can't. If I went into school with purple hair, I'd be sent home. Isolate. Actually, no, don't even tempt me. Are you planning on doing any more giveaways? Oh, nice question, Meg. In school, yes. I don't know when or where or what or how, but yes. And I will certainly be looking at doing something here on Ukulele Wales. See, it's having all of these extra bits is the fun thing. Okie dokie, right. Back for a minute to... Let's just go back to this. There we go. So we got as far as Peter Bradley. I'm just going to pop a soother in my mouth for a moment. Really interesting ramble. Looking forward to you. I suppose this is like a really, really long Rachel's rambles now, isn't it? So sorry. Really interesting ramble. Looking forward to your Patreon and seeing live streaming. And of course, if you start the live lessons, private group, I hope. Maybe you could possibly get round to fingerstyle. Right, okay. Yes, I am planning. This will probably be on Patreon, if I'm honest. But I am planning on doing some group workshops. I'm not sure the format yet, whether or not I'm going to go down and do it through Zoom or whether or not I go through a paid service. There's quite a few things I need to work out on that. But yes, definitely, I do plan on doing some workshops live ones, it's finding the time at the minute. I sort of didn't hint then, but the sooner I can retire and spend my full time doing this, the better. And so that's something that maybe will be down the line. And I also know Peter has been nagging me for ages and ages, or if you're from Wales, for ages, about doing some fingerstyle tutorials. Right, I'm going to come clean here. All right, I'm not very good at fingerstyle. I will, don't get me wrong, I will do some really basic tutorials, but I am no fingerstyle expert. So each time I think, right, how am I going to go about this? I'm not even sure where to start. All right. Yeah, I can play fingerstyle and I'm learning myself. But in terms of teaching it, it's not something we tend to do in school. I teach them very, very simple tabs. And then we tend to look at one song at a time. So it's something I'm going to look at in the future. But yeah, I'm not the most confident fingerstyle player. In fact, I will recommend, if you really want some good basic lessons, I'm sure you've heard of him. Matt Stead does some fantastic ones at the Uke Room. Yeah. Why do I keep saying that wrong? And he's got a fantastic YouTube channel as well. I will do fingerstyles at some point, but each time I think, right, let's get that nailed now. The next thing, I've picked up an electric uke, or I've got a new pedal, or I've got some new bit of video equipment, and things get put back. So apologies on that front, Peter. Okay, where are we getting to? Judy Peter Jones. So I know that's Judy and Peter, obviously. Hi, Rachel. During the lockdowns, Dave Cowton from Shropshire, Ukulele Massive, sent out songs to interested parties. I remember this happening. Record and send them back to him. He sent out the PDF, and he and his wife singing to provide the beat, etc. And we sang along with them while recording ourselves. I thoroughly enjoyed them. He put them, everyone together, all singing together. Oh, hang on, cancel. We did this as well. I can't say I was one of the first to do it, but I was one of the first to do it. And I know Dave was doing it as well, but he's doing it on a much, much bigger scale than me. What we did to try and keep the school club going, the ukuleleans, we were in the best position in that I had play-alongs. So what we were doing was I was getting all the students and staff in school, tell them to learn a play along. And it's quite simple to do, really. What you've basically got to do is have something to play along to, but you can't hear it when you're recording it. So what we'd have is, I'd suggest that somebody have a laptop or an iPad, put the play along on with one headphone in, record yourself. So you need two devices. You need something to play the music on and the chords, and something to record. So maybe a phone and an iPad, or a phone and a laptop. Record it, and of course everybody's syncs up then. So yeah, brilliant thought. And yeah, we did it and it was absolutely fun. I remember I almost sent one in to Dave, and I can't remember what happened, but I never got round to it. But yeah, fantastic idea. And maybe one day I've got the technology to do it and the play along, so maybe one day we'll do something like that on Ukulele Wales. Fantastic suggestion. Okay, right. Bill Mumbo. Oh dear. I say oh dear. Bill, again, is a long-time supporter of the channel, and he comes out with some brilliant jokes sometimes. So what's Bill going to say? Hi, Rachel. If you're looking at pedals, how about showing the effect of changing their order in the signal chain? I mainly play guitar and bass. Ukulele is a bit of a guilty pleasure. In fact. We love our guilty pleasures, don't we, Bill? I've preferred order, so could you show how phasing your fuzz sounds compared to fuzzing your phaser, etc.? You're going to be so careful saying that. It may be useful to newbies. Okay, this is not the place. You might be able to see behind. I have got a few ukes because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to need. I have got an amp set up down there as well. Going through effects pedals on my first live stream was a step too far. That would have probably sent me over the edge, I'm afraid. I love the idea. And funnily enough, you say that, if you go and check out my latest video, or one of my latest videos anyway, the Vailton GP100 VT, it's a multi-effects pedal, and basically you can download a bit of software with it, and you see it all in the video, and you can see that I point out, you can see the order of the pedals, and you can physically swap them around. I haven't done it yet, but I think that would be a really, 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 really good way of showing how you can fuzz your phaser or phaser your fuzz. All right, Bill, but a brilliant question there. And yes, that's one I'm definitely going to look at. Right, let me just jump back to the live stream for a moment. Good grief, I know I can talk for Wales, but I didn't realise I could talk this easily. Right, okay, I've got a little bit of catching up to do. Oh, thank you, Jude. Jude is also replying to Michelle. Repetition is the key. Slow practice always pays off and avoids long practice sessions. Megan, electric uke giveaway. Yeah, we'll see. I love it. Ewan has gone, lol, you wish, Meg. Ewan won my last ukulele giveaway last year. I'd got given a ukulele to review, which, nice, there was nothing wrong with it. In fact, it was a Bat King. But I didn't really need to keep it. So I got all the students in school to write me a letter explaining, and let's just go like that for a minute, explaining why they deserved the ukulele and what the ukulele meant to them. And Ewan wrote the most awesome, fantastic letter and rightly won the ukulele. So yeah, Meg, I'll have to come up with something, I'm sure. Okay, where do we get to? Michelle, one thing I did was to get a concert-size ukulele, the sopranos. Yeah, a lot of people say that. They find that playing on a soprano is just tiny. Well, that sopranino, which I'm going to move in a minute, tiny, 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 tiny little thing. But yeah, often playing a slightly larger ukulele really does help. Okay. So Tobias, Tobias, I did get your email, and I am going to answer your question. I've got a little bit of info actually for you. Tobias has health issues with his hands as well, so he's talking to Michelle about that and agreeing concerts is good size. Yay! Ukanavi Nige is in the house. Thank you, Nige. Lovely to see you. Shamai. Ooh, just noticed you were here. Hi, Rachel. Hello, Nigel. How are we? And how you keeping up there? And your lovely doggies as well. Right. Michelle, I joined a group in lockdown. Awesome. And playing along with the group is probably one of the best things you can do, to be honest. I'm going like this. I think I've put my pop down. It's a bit damp. Okay. Megan, Ewan, who doesn't wish I do anything for electric uke? We know Meg. We know. Meg is an awesome musician. I'm just trying to remember what you play altogether. I know I teach her bass and I teach her ukulele, and she has drum lessons in school, and she's an awesome pianist. I had to think very carefully what I said then. And there's, as I said, Megan's in my registration class in school, and going back maybe some point last year, she just started bringing in all these awesome random instruments. I think we had harmonica, ocarina, was that you? I want to say bagpipes, accordion. There were just loads of them. Absolutely awesome. Anyway, so yes, thank you, Meg. Took part in one of Dave. Yes, Jude, you did play in one of Dave's mass ukuleles, didn't you? Jessie Luhu. Hi, Miss. Hello, Jessie. How are you? And thank you for joining. Jude, the Vailton mix multi-effects pedal mixer vid. Yes, Jude, I have to go and buy one. Simple as that. They are a cracking little pedal. They really, really are. Bagpipes, yes. There was definitely bagpipes. It was absolutely fantastic. Fair play. Where would form be without you, Meg? Ah, Jessica. Right, I get it now. Sorry, I wasn't 100% who you were. I now know. Happy holidays, Jess. Right, so let's get back. Oh, sorry, I'm shouting. I get told off for shouting all the time. I've just seen Fossils has joined. Hello from Poland. Fossils is um, a biology teacher and a ukulele group leader in a high school in Poland. Mikhail. Hello, Mikhail. I featured him and his son Alexander in Show Us Your Ukes a few months ago, and he runs some brilliant ukulele groups in his school as well. So that's fantastic. Right, let's get back to some more questions. A moment. Okay. Right, yep, we're on the right one. Looking forward to it all. Also been playing ukulele for 5 months. This is John Treadway. Loving it, but now thinking about banjolele as well. Do you have any videos about the differences, similarities, etc.? Thanks for everything. Okay, John, right. Just to go and show, I do a little bit of planning, all right? This is specially for you. Hang on. Bear with. Okay, so banjolele. I am no expert in banjolele. In fact, it's a funny story about this banjolele, all right? Because literally, I'm wondering, without this instrument, I may not be sat here today. And you think, how on earth is that? It's a camise banjolele, so there's nothing special. Let me just play a minute. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. First of all, I think I tuned it earlier, but I don't think I actually checked it with sound levels or anything. So, how come I might not be sat here today without this banjolele? Right, basically, let's put that by there for a minute. It's camise. Now, when I first started playing ukulele in 2016, I think it was, I went and bought myself my very first ukulele. It was a rubbish ukulele. It was Ibanez. I recognized the name and thought, oh, yeah, I've got an Ibanez bass guitar. They must make good ukuleles because I knew nothing at the time. It wasn't very good. It got me started, don't get me wrong. But like everybody else, very, very quickly, I started looking at the ukuleles. And then I was like, what is that? Banjolele. So banjolele is a hybrid. It sounds more like a ukulele, but it's got the same scale and strings and chords as a ukulele. And this camise one, camise they were like the new kids on the block on eBay and Amazon. And this was some like £49. And I went, oh, I'm having that. Let's try it. So this was literally my second ever ukulele. And I thought, oh yeah, this is good fun. I've never been a massive player of it. I think I've done one George Formby play along. But I do enjoy playing it every so often. And it is very different sounding to a normal ukulele. Well, anyway, long story short, as my husband would say, skip to the end. Camise. I was so impressed by this. I went and bought another one of their ukuleles and ended up buying all the school ukuleles from Camise. Let me just put this down. So technically, long way around it is if I hadn't bought that banjolele, I was highly probably would have struggled to get 100 odd ukuleles for school. Ukuleleans probably wouldn't have existed and I wouldn't be sat here today. So there we are. That's how I've managed to get here today via my Camise banjolele. Okay, so going back for a minute. Where did we get to? Oh, right. Tobias. Tobias is again one of my absolutely long standing supporters of the channel from Brisbane, Australia. Apart from having absolutely fascinating conversations and comments, um, I've featured his ukuleles on Shows Your Ukes. If you've got a ukulele or a ukulele collection and you would like the rest of the world to see it, go and have a little look at my Shows Your Ukes because I'm more than, in fact, I love showing people's collections around the world. All right, but Show Us Your Ukes, I've shown Tobias's. Sorry if that made a funny popping noise a minute. Obviously, I don't really want to put Tobias's full email up online. Let me just go like that for a moment. There we go. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it. And when I first looked at it this morning, I thought, oh, I'm not sure. I have a little bit of info for you, Tobias. So I'm not going to say this correctly. Okay. But he's got basically Dupren's syndrome in his hands, which basically means he can't stretch his fingers properly. And me being me, I thought I've not heard of that. I'm not sure what I can do to help or say anything. However, when I went and Googled it and it came up with Viking syndrome, I knew exactly what it was because my father-in-law had it years ago. And it's basically, it's very, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to go into massive detail, but it's very difficult for you to bend your fingers because this part of the hand, I think it gets little nodes or nodules in there and you can't bend your fingers. Anyway, right. So it says, I have Pruten's syndrome in both hands as well as mild finger arthritis. What finger hand stretches would you recommend for warm-ups? Right. It's not great news, I'm afraid. There's not a lot. Remembering back to my father-in-law, and he actually had operations on two of them. They weren't particularly successful. In fact, I remember he actually had to give up riding his motorcycle. But I I remember him saying at the time, there's nothing really I can do. I suppose you can try mild finger exercises, but I'm not a medical person and I'd hate for you to go and hurt yourself even more for me giving out wrong advice. Okay. But like anything, you can only do so much. However, I did mention this when my husband got home from work, and he was saying that these days, I think there are new procedures, possibly radiation treatment. So certainly, I'm sure you've spoken to your doctor about it. So yeah, no, I'm just gutted for you. But as soon as I saw Viking syndrome, I thought, yeah, I know exactly what you mean now, and it's not nice at all. So I'm really, and you've mentioned it before as well. Second point he made, I love bar chords. What are some useful movable chords and especially power chords for both uke and bass, beginner to more advanced? Power chords on ukulele are actually really difficult. They're much easier on guitar. My power chords are very different. Hang on. Okay. Right. I've grabbed. Let me move this out of the way for a moment. I've grabbed my Flight Pathfinder. I haven't got any distortion or any effect on it at all. If I'm honest, I'm hoping that it'll just work, actually, thinking about it now. Okay, so going back, movable chords. I could have done this just with a normal ukulele. But anyway, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on anything at all, but definitely not movable chords. However, first of all, you've got any chord that you're pressing down on all four strings is a movable chord. So going right the way from B flat, hopefully you're hearing that. Because I'm pressing down all four strings, it's a movable chord. Okay, I'm going to stop at the octave there. I was quite impressed by that. So that's a movable chord. Other movable chords, anything which is barred. So or these are the most basic bar chords that I'm really talking about in a minute. Sammy Turton, aka 4-String Boy, when we did a workshop with him back in my stag in November, he did a whole section on movable chords. And I haven't got the paperwork handy now, but I don't think I actually had it on the day. But the one that he mentioned, which I use a huge amount of time now, is basically the G chord, but cheating and putting your thumb on your G string. And bear in mind, I've got a low G on here. So what you're actually doing is you're muting your bottom string. You're muting your G string, so it doesn't really matter anything else. But basically, now I can also get away with playing C chord up there on the 7th fret with my G shape. You can or mute that bottom string. And right early on at the beginning of today's video, I sort of talked about different voices. So suddenly you've got a different way of playing a C chord. And if you've got different tunings and things as well, or people playing different voicings of chords, that can sound awesome in a group as well. So hopefully some really, really simple movable chords. B flat shape, B7 shape, ooh, sweary chord, B minor. Why is it called the sweary chord? The kids in school love me playing that. They're allowed to pretend to swear. Okay, so hopefully they've answered a couple of... I've got too many things going on here now. So that's the first two questions by Tobias. Due to my hand, this is number 3. Due to my hand afflictions, I have difficulty with some types of strumming, not strumming patterns per se, but using thumb and finger. What can you suggest? Again, thinking outside the box a little bit. You can either strum with your middle, your ring finger, or your little. It's not ideal. I've done it a couple of times when I've either hurt my finger or done it. I don't know whether you can use a plectrum. I honestly prefer leather plectrums on the ukulele. But if you can use a plectrum, I would recommend that. Or even thinking back to Sammy Turton, aka 4-String Boy, he has a contraption. Apparently, there's something coming soon to do with strapping something to it. He sort of makes a plectrum that fits around his thumb. So I think he uses part of the ring of a You know, sometimes you can get picks that fit on your fingers, and then he sticks other bits to it. So that's a possibility for you. Okay, but I don't know whether or not you're able to hold a plectrum or a pick. And then the last bit Tobias says about is bit of a sidestep. I love doing inkle loom and tablet loom weaving. Fair play is all I can say to that, Tobias. Making narrow patterned bands suitable for guitars, ukes, bass, mandolin. When you say bands, I'm assuming you mean straps. Do you know of any resources for the findings? In other words, the rings, buckles, straps, ends, etc. Just the names of those parts would be helpful. I'm not going to lie, I know nothing at all about making straps. I can recommend where I buy my straps from, but as for making them myself, not a chance. So a massive to you for even doing it. I then went and Googled strap end parts and found loads of stuff on there. So I'm sure you probably know much more than me, but I think it's awesome that you're making your own straps for various instruments. Fantastic. To the point. Hang on, let me get this back up and running. 1 second. Sorry, I've gone a bit quiet. I'd realized I was missing my sound effects. That's better. So, Tobias, I hope that helped and didn't hinder, because I know sometimes when I start whittering on, I'm not always helpful. But in terms of medical advice, I do understand the situation a bit more now. Okay, right. Where do we get to? Next up is Del Bomb. In fact, actually, let's go back and have a quick look at the chat, the live stream for a minute. Where do we get to? Oh, right. Hang on. I've just got too many things to be looking at. And as I said, I get so easily distracted. So we got back to Meg and her bagpipes. Oh, yes. Mikhail from Poland to join us. Michelle, I love music. And congratulations on also playing the clarinet. I love the sound of that. Meg's talking about her ocarina. Banjo, yes, I'd forgotten about that. Looks like George Formby. Yes, I think we're talking about the banjolele there. Love the banjolele. It has got a twang. I completely agree with that. I've got a couple in school as well, and the kids absolutely love playing them. Meg, yes, sorry, she's just mentioned Cool and Ukes gave Hybrid Art Cafe a uke. Awesome, performing there tomorrow. Right, Meg, yeah, I know you and Hannah did a gig. It's a new sort of cafe type thing in Neath. And Megan and another student played there a few weeks ago. And I think Cool Hand Ukes are going to be going there soon as well. Awesome. Deborah McCoy, I will need to get one now. Yes, banjoleles are a must for everybody, I'm afraid. They've gone up in price, mind. I was quite shocked at that. Looking, yes. Are we talking about the ukulele that's been given to the cafe or the art centre, I suppose? Nige, I thought you were going to say Camise saved your life somehow. No, it didn't save my life, but certainly probably unlikely that I'd gone on to buy all the ukuleles for school if I hadn't bought that banjolele. I suppose, let's be honest, yeah, probably the uke has saved my life. Saved my life getting boring anyway. Loving the elevator music. Yeah, that's exactly what my husband called it as well. As Judah said to you, Meg, yeah, good luck for tomorrow, in case I forget. Viking syndrome may maybe turn into OpenC and using barcodes. Yeah, it's a really good advice there. Yeah, trouble is he wants to use it like an axe. I like it, Tobias. Excellent. Oh, Clive is in the house. Welcome, Clive. Clive is a bass player. I want to say from Birmingham, but I could be completely wrong. He's got some really nice ukes. He's got a Muso and a Bat King. And I did feature his bass ukuleles on Show Us Your Ukes a little while ago. I just got home from doing music on a theatre live show. Oh, fantastic. I do. I miss doing that, to be honest. That's something I might try and get back into again, is playing shows. Another really good reason to learn how to read music. There's money out there to be made. They're always looking everywhere, looking for bass players who can rock up um, and read show music. And these days, bass ukuleles fit in a little pit much, much easier than a big double bass or a bass guitar, or as we used to have to do it, both. Okay, so yeah, excellent, loving that. Ewan, I'm gonna have to go. Right, Ewan, thank you for calling in. It was lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. Hooray! Jules is in the house. Carla is showcasing new California U bases that look like tiny P bases. Have no idea what the price will be, but when they're available, maybe give us a demo. Wow. 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 I knew California U bases were doing something. Maybe you've got more information than me, because I didn't see anything that looked like tiny P bases. I wonder what other companies already making tiny P bases. Sounds like a peewee to me. Interesting. I'll go and check that out. Actually, I might do it on here live. Wow. Hi, Clive. So I'm just crunching my soother. Michelle, my brother plays bass guitar, not the uke though. Right, well, Michelle, the bass guitar is exactly the same as a bass ukulele. I did not know that. I was gutted. I wasted about at least a year of my life. People go, why didn't you play bass ukulele? And I'm like, oh, I'm not starting another new instrument now. Then I discovered that it was exactly the same, and I owned one less than 12 hours later. Pee Wee versus Carla. Pee Wee. Let the fun begin. Oh, yes, Jules. I'm going to get through some more questions, and if I've got time at the end, what we've been doing? About an hour and 20 minutes. Fair play. If I get a chance, I'll go and have a little look, because I am extremely excited. Long story short, again, I bought my Nick West, my beautiful purpley Carla California U bass, and I'd waited about 3 years. I'd seen it had to have one, then they just didn't sell any at all. Oops, excuse me. And this one Nick West appeared. I have told this story before. I'm sorry if you've heard it. But basically, I contacted. No, first of all, I was like, do I want it? Don't I? Yes, of course I want it. Then there was this notice on the Carla website basically saying that they wouldn't ship outside of the USA because of wood laws. It's not laws at all, but right, you know what I mean. So I was like, gutted. So it sort of gave up on it. It was still there. It was still there. And this is an expensive bass we're talking about. It was way over $1,000 at the time. So I contacted Carla after a few weeks and said, look, in the meantime, I was thinking, who do I know in the USA that I could possibly get rid of that for a minute, that I could possibly have this Carla California U bass shipped to God, sorry, I was just looking on the stream. It seems to have gone infinite. I do apologize. I hadn't noticed that. Who I could have this California U bass shipped to, so they could then ship it on to me, or was there any way I could get to America? And Carla turned around and went, oh no, it's absolutely fine. This bass doesn't have any rosewood, which is what the offending wood was. So I bought the Nick West. Yeah, I do ramble on. I'm sorry. Then Jules bought, correct me if I'm wrong, another sparkly bass. I think it was the blue or the ruby red one. And it looked not as, how shall I put this tactfully? It didn't look like the Nick West, but it was beautiful, sparkly, and they had round wound strings. So Jules bought one and had massive problems with it. Intonation was all over the place. And again, long story short, yeah, Ruby, the intonation was awful. Thank you, Jules. Carla, I think, offered you a refund, possibly. I hope it was a full refund. And then suddenly they stopped doing round one strings on the California U bases, and there were all sorts of rumors flying around that there were truss rod problems and intonation problems. And I haven't had an intonation problem on my Nick West, touch wood. And Carla hadn't contacted me. And bear in mind, this is probably the only Nick West ukulele bass that they've sold in 3 years. So I was thinking, well, they should contact me if there's an issue. They've never contacted me, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So I may possibly have a little look at that. Maybe if not online, as soon as I come off streaming, I'm going to go and check out the California U bass. Right. Okay. I think we're up to date. And oh, yes, Jules. This is from Jude to Jules. She fancied the ruby red one. They should contact you to send you a freebie, baby. Yeah, should we do that? Should we start? What's the word? Sending out a. Oh, I can't think of the word now. I want to say proposition. It's not proposition, but sending a petition to Carla that they should send me one of their new freebie P bases to A, review, B, to keep, C, do they do them in purple? I don't know. I'm going to have to go and have a look anyway. Right, let's get back to the job in hand because we do need to get through a few of these. Right, going up. If you notice as well, I haven't, this microphone only started, the microphone I was using started playing up yesterday. So this suddenly came in. So I'm not quite used to this one at the minute. So going back to, okay, right, live stream. Yes, we've done Tobias's questions. They were awesome. I think it'd be fun if you would viewers submit short clips like, hey, I've been struggling with, could be anything, technique, equipment, heck, even resolving a melody. Delbomb. I think that's an awesome idea. In reality, though, running a channel like this, it isn't the best way of doing it because it's very difficult. You can send me video clips, but I'm also a full-time music teacher at the minute. And so going into emails, downloading video clips, then emailing somebody back would be difficult. However, there is a solution where you could do this easily. And I'm not trying to hard sell my Patreon at all. It's entirely up to you whether anybody decides to join. But one of the tiers in Patreon is basically you will become a member of a secret Facebook group. And that is exactly what that is intended for. I'm not a massive Facebook person. Okay. I try and go on there as much as possible, but I've purposely, and bearing in mind, Patreon's only been up less than a week. I think I've only been doing it a few days. And I finally started getting the Facebook secret groups. Excuse me, you can't get into this Facebook group unless you're a patron. But that's one of the ideas of this Facebook group. And Facebook makes it very easy for you to put a quick video up and very easy for me to quickly reply back and help you. All right. Doing it through the channel would be really difficult. Doing it through Facebook, but therefore via Patreon, sorry, makes it a lot easier. I hope that makes sense. Chris Gorman. We're on this number here. A video on how to identify a good ukulele or bass ukulele as far as what features to look for to getting a great instrument. Brilliant question. Really difficult to answer. Let's start with basses. Things I look for. I'm going to go with bass ukuleles rather than just general basses. Things I would look for. The very first thing is tuners. I know it sounds weird. Excuse me. Oh, I got a cup of tea. Oh, hour and a half in. It's stone cold, but a ukulele and smug. Right. Okay. So, I look at the tuners because those are the things I find cause me the most issues on bass ukuleles. Excuse me. See, having that soother didn't really help. If I find anything is going to break on a bass ukulele, it's normally the tuner. So I check to see if it's got decent tuners. So, for example, if I'm looking, just to give a really, example, if I'm looking to buy a new Carla, some of them have got the hip shot tuners, some of them haven't. I would look at a hip shot tuner one. Oh, this is the worst. I would also, excuse me, look at the saddle and the bridge. For example, as Jules would love me to call it, the Fart King, but the Bat King fretless ukulele that I've now got, which should have been fretted, I think is a design issue. In terms of general things, it's difficult because realistically, there are not enough brands of bass ukuleles to be able to go, yes, no. And I know there are people who swear by Carla. I've played some really ropey Carla bass U basses. Let's get this right. A bass ukulele is the instrument. A U bass is a Carla bass ukulele. It's actually a brand name. Okay, we all do it. I do it myself as well. But I've played some ropey Carla bass ukuleles, U basses. I've played some fantastic, cheap, non-Carla bass ukuleles. So I suppose looking for something different, let's take the Magic Fluke timber bass. All right, there's nothing really to compare that to. I was fairly happy thinking they make really good ukuleles, the Fluke and the Flea, so therefore the timber bass, but there weren't really any reviews on it. So this is one of the reasons why I tend to review everything I've got, because they're just not out there. Okay, so it's a difficult one to answer. My main advice will always be go along and play something. It's as simple as that. And I know that's easier said than done. Buying from a reputable ukulele specialist means you're much, much more likely to get a decent, well set up instrument. You can look at the quality of the woods, but you can get beautiful sounding mahogany ukuleles compared to beautiful sound koa ukulele, and it's all personal choice. So it's a brilliant question, but a very difficult one to answer, I'm afraid. Okay, let's go back. Where do we get to? So that was Chris. And also as well, Chris keeps wanting to lend me his Mayon bass ukulele. Thank you, Chris. You have no idea how much it means. It's just, as we keep saying, I'm terrified of it getting damaged. Bob Grattan, congratulations on the new setup. Do you have any suggestions to avoid injuries? I'm still learning and don't have a great technique, but I play too much and I'm starting to feel the pain in my hands. For the left hand, it's easy to understand. I put too much pressure. Yeah, I get that. But I don't understand the pain in the right hand from only plucking. I don't know whether it's ukulele or bass ukulele. Bass ukulele, you're going to have to build up calluses on your fingertips. Same really goes for your strumming hand on your ukulele as well. Little and often practice. All right, it's better to practice 10 times 10 minutes a day than 1 2-hour session a day. I'm just trying to work that out actually mathematically. 10, 30, 60, 120 minutes a day rather than 2 hours one session, if that makes sense. All right, little and often. If it hurts, stop. Or as we say in work, when the fun stops, stop. All right, it's as simple as that. All right, but you will build up muscle memory, you'll build up. And I'm coming from a background, I had to stop playing professional double bass because of shoulder injuries. Because when I was much younger, I was told, oh, you've got to get used to the pain. It comes as being a professional, which is absolute nonsense. I was just not told how to sit properly. All right, I'm not bitter, but it is important. Okay, if your body is telling you to stop, stop. Megan Hall, I vote more riffs. Yes. Connie 2000 or 2000 Connie, again, another patron. Thank you ever so much, Connie, and a long-time supporter here on Ukulele Wales. And thank you for your compliment on the quality of this video. Thank you very much. Are you using multiple cameras? Yes, I am. Okay, I am. The trouble is, I'm so used. I'm looking at that camera there that doesn't change, forgetting that I've got to look at this one down here to actually show me what I'm doing. So it's going to take a little bit of while of getting used to it, but it is brilliant fun, I promise. That's genuinely one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts.
This is my other favourite part. The mixer, I think it's brilliant. Simple as that. I love sounding like this. I can go the other way to robot, but I won't spoil that yet. So,
back to normal. Where do we get to? How are we doing? Yeah, we'll get through this now. Okay, so thank you, Connie. I guess my only question is, if you get opportunities to play with other serious musicians, for example, are there such a thing as a serious musician? I ask that generally. All right, no. One of my favorite jokes is child says to the mother, when I grow up, I want to be a musician. Mother turns around and says, don't be silly, darling, you can't be both. I'm too slow on them. This is what I need to get used to this. I need to do more live streaming. Okay, so sorry, Connie, where do we get to? Using multiple cameras. Yes, I am. I enjoy the change of the angles. Thank you very much. Apart from anything else, it's necessary for if I'm playing as well. But of course, I move away from the microphone. Where do we get to? Yes, do I get opportunity to play with other serious musicians, for example, a jazz band? Not the most folks playing ukes at festivals are serious, but I tend to think of them just for playing for fun and for fellowship. I've always played. I'm a musician first and foremost. I've stopped playing double bass. I wouldn't even want to carry one of those around these days. But up until start of COVID, I was playing regularly. I was playing in a swing band called Jackson Swings, and I was playing bass guitar in that. I just got to the point. I'd only just started Ukulele Wales, and I was just starting mentioning ukulele and things in the band, and I get, the rolling of the eyes. And I probably, to be honest, I was just starting to think maybe I could get away with taking a bass ukulele to a gig. But it never actually really happened. And then COVID struck, and I'm still in touch with them. We just haven't really got the band back to where it was. So yeah, I'd be playing with that. I would often get invited to go and play in big bands, jazz bands, shows, local shows, doing musicals and stuff like that. I was in the Dragon Strings, which was an electric string orchestra, the first electric string orchestra in the country. The electric string quartets, but we had, about 12 of us. So that was brilliant fun. So yeah, I've always enjoyed working with other musicians. Sorry if I'm getting a bit loud. I get very excitable. Great question. Okay, from Ron Rhodes. Wondering if you've heard of the Squire Mini Precision Bass and would it be worth a review? I have heard of it. I haven't got one. I can only review what I've got. It's a short scale bass, so I believe is it between 28 and 30 inches. So I've gone from full scale bass guitars, which are 34 inches, down to 20-inch scale. Some of the bass ukuleles are. I think my biggest bass ukulele, the Fanner, and the Flight Mini Bass, they're around about the 23 inches, which is still much, much shorter than the was it the Squire Mini? So yes, I have heard of it, but no, not really my thing. Along with, they also make the other one, the Ibanez Micro, is the same sort of size, smaller but not small enough. Really enjoying the bass course. Same person. I've bought a full-size jazz bass guitar, but find it too much of a stretch. I'm looking. Obviously, my arm is going off the screen at the minute. I just holding the bass guitar these days. I just think, why hold it out there? Well, I could hold it here. Same thing. Likes guitars, so maybe a short scale bass. Yeah, there are loads of different short scale basses. I've just mentioned, obviously, you've mentioned the Squire Mini Precision. I've mentioned the Ibanez Micro. I think you've got Tiny Boy basses. You've got the Flight Mini bass. There are loads of them around now. The Fanner Pee-wee bass. But these again are much smaller. When you think short scale is 30, normal scale is 34, that's 4 inches. You come down, you're still not down as much as the bass ukuleles, even with a short scale bass as well. But great questions. Fiendfish Thingy from Los Angeles. I'd be very interested in live streaming sessions. Retired. Oh, one of my favorite comments. I'm retired, so I'm available to attend any time of day or night. Thank you, Fiendfish Thingy. I wish I was. Clive Hunt, I like the idea. We've already said hello to Clive and go back to the live stream in a minute. Love the idea of the live stream. How about learning how to read bass? He has since found my how to read music on bass, but I also have done reading bass clef as well. Okay, let's quickly jump back to the live stream for a minute, but we're going to go there because that's really hard work. Where do we get to? Yes, Jules was going on about they should contact you to send a freebie. Yes, but Jules is signing it. Tobias, I'll sign the petition. Excellent. We're on to this now. I can see a good thing happening. Mike. Oh, now Mike is another long-time supporter. Typical first live stream and no sound. Okay, Mike, I'm not sure. I hope that you can hear me. We don't seem to have had many issues. Hopefully you can hear that now. Michelle, I'll have to go. Thank you, Michelle, for calling in. It was lovely to meet you, and hopefully I've answered a few things. I did love using the Ukuleleans videos. Hope you can do another live soon again. Yes, I think I can. Jude, good night, Michelle. Oh, thank you, Jude. Anarchy, I haven't found a Carly U bass I've liked yet. I like my Nick West. I've got, sorry, this is going to Anarchy and the ukulele. I've got the mahogany fretless, I want to say SMGFL, whatever it is, and I love it. Hang on. Let's do it properly. No. Yeah, less of the dancing. Okay, so this is my Carla. I still don't know what the model number is. I love it, but going back to the question a little bit earlier on, what do I look for? EQ, hang on. This has got a shadow EQ, this Carla has. They also do some with Fishman EQs, and then they do the Carla EQ. So straight away, there's 3 different levels of electric going on there. What do I love about this one? I love it even more now because I've put Thunder Browns on it. I just think this is a lovely sounding instrument. This was my first bass, ukulele U bass. I was very, very lucky to find it because Leighton over in Music Shop Neath is a bass player, and we were getting a lot of ukuleles from school. And I discovered about 8 o'clock on a Friday night that the bass ukulele was the same as a bass guitar. So I messaged Leighton on Facebook and said, "Have you got any bass ukes in the shop?" And he went, "Yeah." And so I bought this one the following morning, and this was actually his. He'd bought it and played it for a bit. Wasn't his thing. So he'd already swapped. He didn't put these Thunder Browns on. He'd put the Thunder Guts on, but set it up really, really nicely. So I managed to pick this up at a steal of a price. So yes, I love this Carla. Oh, I don't like Jules. Don't listen to this. I'm not a fan of the Journeyman with round strings at all. I've played a couple of them now, and they just don't do it for me. So yes, it's difficult. Finding that Carla. I'm possibly considering a bamboo U-bass, Carla U-bass. I fancy another fretted Carla. I've only got this in the electroacoustic fretless because my Nick West is fretted. It's very different to this. Yay, sound fixed. I bet you're nearly finished. Mike, I don't even know what time it is anymore. 1:45. We've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes. I am going to try and rock it up pretty soon because these good people, some have been with me right from the very beginning. String Boy, oi! We mentioned you earlier, Sammy. We were talking about your brilliant My Stag workshop and things. So, and just say Jude going, Sammy! Sammy's an awesome ukulele teacher, a performer, an all-round good guy who lives in Copenhagen, but is British originally. So, Mike, I stopped when the sun starts coming up and I realise I have to work in the morning. Yeah, I know that feeling. I've still got a couple of things. Sean, oi, String Boy. You can see with the Welsh coming through us there now. Can I say live thanks to you for teaching me to play via ukulele? And thank you, Mike. And I love all your comments. I'm rubbish at replying to comments, especially on ukulele. And that is one of my next jobs, is to fly through. And I can see you've done loads on it. Massive thank you for all those. Nancy, how about a banjo finger pick? Are we talking about... Oh, no, thumb picks. Yeah, I think you're talking about for Tobias, possibly there. That would be a really good option. I couldn't think what they were called. The sound issue was me, not you. Thank you, Mike. That makes me feel a lot better. Shirl, more dance. Only a little bit of dancing. Jules, no. Rachel, no, you don't love the Journeyman. It's okay. I still love you. Honestly, I felt so bad saying that then. It's just... And you think as well, the Bat King F... I love the shape of the Journeyman. I'm just not a fan of the round wounds on it. Sorry. Megan Atwell. Oh, hello, Megan Atwell. Megan is another one of my ukuleleans, one of my students from school. We love you, Sammy, 4-string boy. We do. We love you, Sammy. We do. Right, hang on. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, right. Let's get on to these last few questions. See, I'm taking way too long with the sound effect. Right, here we go. From Craig Walsh, as you're asking for questions, right. Craig, brilliant question. Let me get it on the screen for every minute. There we go. You're asking for questions. How does an electric ukulele active piezo get processed to sound like Carlos Santana as in this video? First of all, I'm not going to click. I watched the video. I'm not going to click the link on a live stream. Copyright. So very, very quickly, if anybody does want to go and have a look at it, it's a brilliant sounding ukulele, and it's a Godin multi-uke, which is nylon string, piezo pickup, brilliant for high gains. You can turn them up loud and that you don't get loads of feedback. Basically, very, very quickly, I think, I'm not 100% sure, Craig, but if it was me, I would go with overdrive, delay, reverb, and a bit of EQ. Santana, I know Carlos Santana uses low. You can go and have a look at all of his what are they called, effects pedals, and what he uses. I think he enjoys using a bit of fuzz as well. But initially, when I heard that, the very first thing I thought was overdrive, delay, reverb, EQ. Try those ones as a starting place. Possibly a bit of wah. Possibly, not sure. Patricia Robinson, hiya. I'm in San Diego. Love your videos and insight. I'm also a lefty. What do you think of fan-fretted fingerboards? Fan-fretted fingerboards. Okay. Let me just pull this one up a minute. Okay. For anybody who doesn't know what a fan-fretted fingerboard is, can we see on this picture here, and a massive shout out to World of Ukes as well. Matt, another brilliant, reliable ukulele seller, and also does the big UK ukulele magazine. Can we see on the neck of this gorgeous Yuma? And I've been so close to buying one of these quite a few times now. The frets don't go straight; they go at angles. Okay, fascinating thing, and apparently it does make it certainly different. Easier or not, that's up to the player, but it certainly makes it different. So going back to the question, which was, hang on. What do you think of fan-fretted fingerboards? Would it make difference for a lefty? Yes. Simple as that, I'm afraid. It's a bit like having an electric ukulele where everything gets turned the other way around and everything is on the wrong side. And as far as the physics of it would mean that it would be the wrong way, I think. The more I'm saying it out loud now, the more I'm actually wondering if I'm right or not. Best bet, give somebody like Matt in World of Ukes a shout. Just email them and ask them. They're going to be a lot more proper, correct with their answer. Okay, but again, a brilliant question, but I do fancy one of those fan-fretted ukuleles. Tracy Powell. Hello, Tracy. Oh, sorry, we're not live now. This is going back. I'd love to take part in the live stream, but living in Sydney, please consider the time. I thought long and hard about the best times that I could do this. I didn't want to go too late for me and the Europeans. I knew I was probably going to be at least an hour or so. As it is, we're almost 2 hours in, so it's almost 11 p.m. here. And I was very aware of the fact that it was going to be very, very early for you guys down under. All right. So what I might do in the future is do a poll and see what time people want me to do it. After all, I've got some viewers and subscribers here who are available at any time. Thank you very much. Okay, Tom Panic. I noticed on your desk there is a small keyboard. Hang on, if I go. This keyboard. Okay, so let me just fly back for a second. I noticed a small keyboard. Is that the bass keys of the piano, and do you use it in gigs performances? No, it's a MIDI controller. What that does, that's connected to my Mac, or you can connect it to a PC or whatever you like. And basically that doesn't make a sound by itself. It just produces the computer input onto audio software. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So no, it's not a gig in. It's not. I completely understand what you're saying about it being a bass synth. Yes, it can be a bass synth in a piece of software, but no, I don't go playing with that. I use that to input music on the Mac Mini. Brilliant question. See, this is why it was a really nice way of doing this. Okay, horny dip. Right. I've had quite a few conversations back and forth about, I'm going to say this wrong, the cavaquenco. All right, it's basically a Portuguese instrument. Cool idea, a documentary on the origin of the ukulele, which has come from the cavaquento, but I'm kind of biased because I play them. And so we've had a couple of emails back and forth, and I've said if I ever do a video on those, I'm going to him for the info. Laurie, who was here earlier, I don't know if Laurie's still with us at the minute. Was Laurie here? Did I mention she's away on holiday and was going to try and make... I don't know. Anyway, actually, Rachel, anything bass. Okay, Laurie, for you. From Deborah Leary. Deborah Leary, it's getting late. Hi, Rachel. For some reason, my feedback is disappearing. Yes, please do email me. I don't know why things are disappearing. They just do weird things sometimes. Okay, Megan Hall. Megan, are you still on the live stream? I don't really know. Anyway, this one's for Megan. If Megan is still here, and it's a brilliant question. Megan asks, do you know of any free recording software like GarageBand? I want to record, but I have Windows, not Apple, so I don't know if you can do GarageBand on that. Okay, I very quickly answered Meg right literally in the last dying minutes before the Easter holidays. But it's an excellent question. Yes. If you've got an Apple iPad, phone, Mac, Mac Mini, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, loads of different ones. Use GarageBand. It's brilliant. It's free. It comes with it. It's an application. You may have to download it on phones these days, but it's an awesome DAW, which is digital audio workstation. Okay. And just to clarify, I did my Veilton effects pedal thing the other day, and basically I mentioned that the Veilton multi-effects pedal can be an audio interface and you can record through it. Yes, you can, but you need to go into digital audio workstation software, something like GarageBand or one of these that I'm about to mention now. So, for example, Mixcraft is a paid one. I think this is one I mentioned to Meg. I've used Mixcraft for years and years. It does cost. It's not massively expensive. I don't even know how much it costs at the minute. You can always download a free version and try it. We're on, if you look, it looks sort of similar to GarageBand. It's not as tactile. It's not as easy as GarageBand, but it's a really good audio workstation. And it's the sort of one where you buy it and then you get upgrades for small amounts of money. Okay. Also, this one, Meg, you know this one already, and I just forgot about it. BandLab. It's an online DAW. I think it's free. We use it in school. I'm not an expert on it at all. I have a little play just to give you. I hope this works. What you see in there is at the top here, you've got some loops. Down the bottom, you've got some bass loops, I think they are. And then at the top, you've got this drum machine, which is this. And so you could alter, literally just, I'm not going to spend loads of time doing this, but just to give you an idea. Suddenly now, when I play it, hopefully it's changed. I'm not going to get carried away. First live stream. Yeah, what she did, she spent about 20 minutes messing about on some bit of soft. No. All right. But yes, Meg, there are alternatives. So if you've got a PC or your Windows base and you want to use something that's similar to GarageBand, but you don't want to go and spend loads of money, go and have a little look at BandLab. It's a really good bit of kit. Okay, back to it. From JRZZ, try different types of music. Yeah, I'd give that advice to anybody. I try all types of music. No, I'm not a massive country and western fan. Controversial, I know, sorry. Or brass band. But apart from that, we're almost there. The last one from Gay Kang. Rachel, love your programs and appreciate the breadth of information you provide. One area that I would see covered involves the subject matter of pedals. Are there some pedals that simply do not work well on the ukulele as opposed to guitars? Oh, this is an interesting question. Regarding the subject of Patreon, really looking forward to joining that. Awesome. Finally, the studio is looking terrific. Thank you very much. One sec. Okay, so yes, it's a simple answer. That I'm not going to start talking about pedals now live because that's crazy talk. That's just things going mad. But I will look at it in the future. It's just for my first live stream, there was enough for my mind to go. Anyway, let's have a little look. Pedals. I did a quick search earlier on. Go and check out this video here. Ukulele pedals, 3 effect pedals types for beginners, where to start. This isn't actually meant to demonstrate what it demonstrates. This was literally, I had a student in school who had just done an electric uke and wanted to know where to start. So I did this for her. But basically what I've done in this video without realizing, but I've also done it in my recent Veilton video as well, is that I'm using the same effects but with different ukuleles. So for example, hopefully this will work. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to get adverts in there then. I was hoping just to jump forward a little bit to see the same pedals. The same pedals, but with different ukulele, because it'll demonstrate that yes is the short answer. Different ukuleles and different pedals sound very different. And for some reason, it's deciding to go for full adverts a moment. Oh, hang on. Skip. Okay, so hopefully you can see there I'm playing. Hang on. I didn't have any sound. Sorry. Reverb really does. So does that mean all of that wonderful stuff coming through from no, it doesn't. I could hear the BandLab one. Right, okay. Basically, let's just go and check out this video here, because basically I'm using the same pedals. First of all, with my purple Lanakai, which is an electroacoustic with nylon strings, and my Flight Pathfinder, which is a solid body with steel strings. And you will hear that, yes, different ukuleles sound very different through effects pedals, as well as through different amps and everything as well. And that's one of the reasons why I love them in so many different instruments, is basically they all sound different. They all have different things. So, phew, that's just over 2 hours. Let me, I can hear Idris barking in the background now. Frankenstein thumb, right, where are we? Yeah, we got as far as I love you, Sammy. We do, and we know that. Fran Paddington, hi, Fran, from Australia. Thank you for your Ubase sessions. Thank you very much. Custom thumb pick was mentioned. Yeah, Sammy, I didn't give away any secrets. It's all, I said things that are happening, but we don't know what yet. Derek Woodley. Hi, Rachel. I've now got a Flight Mini bass. Not that I'm jealous. And I like it. However, I'm not sure if I prefer it over my Carla Journeyman with Thunder Red. Totally different sound from then. Derek, a massive hello. I haven't seen you for ages, lovely. I hope you're keeping well. Derek is the main official bass player for Cool Hand Ukes, but he hasn't been very well lately. So a massive welcome back, Derek. And I really, really look forward to seeing you soon and hearing your Flight Mini. I'm very jealous of that at the moment, but each to your own. It's much more like a bass guitar than a bass ukulele, so I completely understand why you prefer one over the other. So hi Derek, hi Jude. Right, I think we're going to wrap it up there now. We've still got a few watching. First of all, can I say a massive thank you to everybody. I really, really, really do appreciate it. One of the most precious things you can give people is your time. So I so appreciate your time tonight. I've said all along, I can talk for Wales, and I think tonight has proved it. So yeah, 2 hours, 5 minutes and counting. We're going to stop very, very soon. A massive thank you, not just to everybody who's called in and watched and everything, especially to those who've been with me right from the very start. I can see Jude is still on there. Sean Keddy is still on there. Fair play. We've done a good, what's the word? Shift, boys. Yeah, fair play. Nostar H. Totally enjoyed that. That was interesting. Thank you very much. Marcy, great live stream. Thank you, Tobias. 6 a.m. Oh my God, you've got your whole day ahead of you. I've got my sleeps ahead of me. But Tobias, I so appreciate you getting up. Love you, bye. Thank you, String Boy Sammy. Elaine, click the like, everyone. Oh, thank you, Elaine. That's much appreciated. Hang on. Jules, thank you so much. Shirl, we appreciate your time. Honestly, guys, I really had so much fun. I'm going to go mad. I'll have to get some more sound effects ready for next time. Honestly, guys, thank you ever so much for joining me tonight. I will do it again because I've had massive fun. I'll try and be a bit more organised next time. Nothing massively has gone wrong, she says, looking around to see what can fall on her head. So thank you, guys. Thank you for sticking by. Thank you for being involved. This will go up on YouTube now. So I'm just going to go like this. And before I say nostar, which is good night, and diolch yn fawr, which is thank you, as always, if you have enjoyed this, I'm going to say leave a comment if you haven't already. Give us a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you ever, ever so much. Nostar. Wrong mouse. Thank you, guys.